Let's have a look at another tricky one that's got a combination. Now it's tempting to look at this and think we've moved down 3, we've moved to the left 2, and we've flipped it left to right. But we need to be really careful here because the actual definition of shifting left and right says that you need to replace x with, let's use the 2 here and say x minus 2 would move to the right and x plus 2 would move to the left. That's the formal definition of how to shift things left and right. Now, we know that having a negative index number here at all, any kind of negative, is going to make us reflect the entire graph left to right. So what you'll need to bear in mind here is that if this whole thing is negative, it's the same as if we rewrite it and say it's negative x minus 2. Can you see that that gives us the same exact expansion as that? So what we've actually got here is not negative x, we've got negative, and x has been replaced with x minus 2, so it's actually going to move it to the right. Now, if you can spot how to do this, you're ahead. If you can't, let me show you a workaround to make sure that you don't get ones like this wrong. Now, first thing to do is to think, well, we are left to right, so a little sketch to show that instead of going like this, we are reflected around the other way, okay, and we have to shift it down 3. So you can start by drawing your asymptote down here at minus 3, okay. Now, knowing that you've dropped down 3 and that you're shifted left to right should be enough to get you started, okay, because at this point, we should be able to draw in the basic shape. Now, if you're not sure where to draw it, we know that we're going to have intercepts here. We're going to have x and y intercepts. So my advice would be to avoid the confusion with what's going on here. Has it shifted to the left? Has it shifted to the right? Find your intercepts. You know that it's dropped down, so it's potentially going to have 2 intercepts. And if it doesn't have intercepts, trying to find them is not a bad idea anyway, because you'll see that there aren't any, and that will tell you, hold on, maybe it hasn't dropped down 3 and I've made a mistake. So let's find them one at a time. Let x equal 0. Y will be equal to e to the power of, what's 0 plus 2? Just 2. E squared minus 3. Now, at this point you can think to yourself, is that a positive number? 2.7 squared minus 3? Yeah, that's a positive number. So it's actually going to cut through the y-axis up here somewhere. Let's label this point e squared minus 3. Okay, next we can let y equal 0. Now when we let y equal 0, we have to write 0 equals e to the power of minus x plus 2 minus 3. Now there's a bit of work to do here. Let's add 3 to both sides. Let me just make my graph a bit smaller. Now we can rewrite this as a log and say we've got e to the power of minus x plus 2 equals 3. Now to get the x by itself, let's add x to both sides. That will bring the x over here. And let's subtract the log of 3 from both sides. Okay, now at this point, if you're not quite sure where it's going to sit, take your calculator and do 2 minus, now you want to hit natural log of 3, and you'll see there that it's around about 0.9, so it just gives you something at the scale. Now we're not going to label it 0.9 because it's not exactly 0.9, we'll label it 2 minus the log of 3, okay? But it gives you a bit of an idea that our x-intercept is a little less than 1, so around about here. And we can label that 2 minus the log base e of 3. Now, we knew that we had shifted left to right, so we're looking for a graph that has this basic shape, and here are 2 of our points. So that helps you then, you've got 2 points, make it come up sharply on this side, and come down this side towards your asymptote, which obviously would be longer and come along here, and then label your curve. Y equals e to the power of minus x plus 2 minus 3. Now, finding these x and y intercepts is a really good strategy before you even think about what transformations have occurred, because there's some transformations, as we've seen, that can be a little bit different from what you expect. Now, what we've found here is that this one, which flips left to right, has potential to mess you around with whether it's moved left to right, like slid left to right or not. But it was okay that it really was dropped down 3.